circle on chill. She makes her white, told her mine ain't your lil. Uzi too rich.
You Nah, playing. But look, it's your boy No Fame Jalil back with your next reaction video. Today I'm reacting to the greatest basketball player to never play in the NBA. Yes, you heard it here first. The greatest basketball player to never play in the NBA. That's crazy. But without further ado, like, comment, and subscribe. And you know what we say. The grind don't stop until we make it to the top. You know, let's get at it and look at it. Hold on, first of all, I said like the video. I'll wait for you guys. Alright, you do it? Okay. You know, I had to wait for you guys a little bit.
The word GOAT started being bandied around everywhere.
Hold the fuck on, bro. Are these dudes wearing belts? With shorts? Oh, yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie. What era are we in? Where is this, my guy? Holy shit, bro. Belts with the shorts is insane. Diabolical work. Who is this guy? That Bob Cousy, my guy?
Before the word GOAT started being bandied around everywhere, back when Michael Jordan was still in diapers, the world of basketball knew who the GOAT was. It wasn't even a debate. If you asked every basketball player then who the GOAT of basketball was,
Larry Bird was the GOAT back before Jordan was in the NBA.
You'll only get one answer. Earl Manigault. And this
Who the fuck is this? Hold on, go back.
Basketball was, you'll only get one answer. Earl Manigault. In this video, we're going to talk about Earl the GOAT Manigault and why he got a movie made after his life, even though
the movie Rebound was about this Cuddy? I never knew this was actually a true story, my guy. What the hell? Alright, damn.
He didn't make it to the NBA. I promise you this one is a banger. But before we go on, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and don't forget to leave us a like below. Done that? Cool. Now let's dive
I got you, my boy, with a like though.
Right into it. When asked who the greatest player he ever played against was after a long and illustrious NBA career, playing against many of the sport's legends,
He said, Will Chamberlain.
Basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gave a surprising answer. That would have to be Earl the GOAT Manigault.
I used to be fact checked. I don't think this guy ever said that about, okay.
A man who has variously been described by players and sports writers alike as the greatest basketball player to never play in the NBA. Now, opinions are like,
I don't know. If you're not the greatest to play the NBA, then how can you say you're the greatest? You know what I'm saying? Because that sounds like he's just a normal park guy. Sounds like niggas at LA Fitness on the open run at 8 a.m. And they say he's a GOAT. You know what I'm saying, bro? So I don't know how I feel about
noses. But given the fact that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar himself is a top 10 all-time NBA player, and given the caliber of players that he's played against, his opinion on this holds a lot of weight. But let's look at the kind of player the GOAT was, before looking at why he never made it to the NBA. Earl Manigault was born in 1945 in a rural area of Charleston, South Carolina.
45? Damn.
He grew up in extreme poverty and hardship. Earl, the youngest of 9 children, was taken in by a woman named Mary Manigault when he was around 7 years old, after it became clear that his parents were uninterested in raising him.
Oh, damn.
At this point, this is looking like another grass to grace story. Initially living with Mary in what amounted to little more than a shack with no electricity, running water, or heating, Earl's prospects improved slightly when Mary
No running water and no heat. No water and no heat. I'm not gonna lie, my boy. That's insane.
Uprooted and moved to Harlem in the hopes of providing Earl with a better life. But by that time, the damage had already been done. Earl had 0 to no social skills, found it difficult to connect with other kids in school, and could not focus in class, seeming very uninterested in whatever he was being taught. He only had one thing he was interested in, and if you guessed basketball, you'd be right. Manigault had a small stature for a basketball player. He was only 6'1", but he used that to his advantage. His small stature, coupled with incredible quickness and almost superhuman leaping ability, made him a veritable legend on the streets of New York.
That said superhuman-like abilities.
and almost superhuman leaping ability made him a
Holy
veritable
blaze.
legend on the streets of New York, and he could regularly be found hustling people out of money at playgrounds across the city during his formative teenage years.
Damn.
According to Abdul-Jabbar, at the time, there weren't a whole lot of people who could do things with the basketball that Earl Manigault could. His speed and agility allowed him to create so many innovative ways to score. He was an artist, as good with basketball as Beethoven was with a piano. Basketball was his sole outlet for expression, and boy did he express himself.
As good as a basketball as Beethoven was with a piano is Glaze.
Manigault earned the moniker the GOAT during his adolescent years. There are numerous stories about the origin of the nickname, such as it being an acronym for greatest of all time, but this appears to not be the case, as Manigault stated it simply came from a high school teacher who constantly mispronounced his name as Manigault, instead of its correct pronunciation of Manigault. Whatever the origins of the nickname, it stuck, and it is still held in high regard in the Harlem courts where he once presided. After impressing at Benjamin Franklin High School in Harlem, he transferred to a North Carolina prep school, where he attracted recruiters from college powerhouses such as Duke University, Indiana University, and the University of North Carolina. But he chose Johnson C. Smith University, a predominantly black institution, where his grades plummeted and he fought with the coach over playing time. Manigault didn't just play in school though. During his time on the streets, Manigault faced several of basketball's biggest names at the time, including the Harlem Globetrotters, Connie Hawkins, Earl the Pearl Monroe, and of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who stated Earl and I would get together. Earl Monroe.
Yeah, are we all seeing them? They're wearing belts, my guy. Hold on, go back now.
Including the Harlem Globetrotters, Connie Hawkins, Earl the
They're wearing belts, my
Pearl
guy.
Monroe, and of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Why do they have belt buckles?
Who stated Earl and I would get together on certain Saturday mornings and play a lot of 3-on-3 basketball in the park or wherever the real good games were being played. Earl was a more street player than I was, so he never received the same level of mainstream recognition that I did in high school.
Wow.
However, those who knew the game well knew Earl could play. Now, this is the part where Manigault is supposed to get his shit in gear, knuckle down, and get drafted for the NBA. But this is not that kind of story, and Manigault never made the transition from the playgrounds to organized basketball. Manigault's skills as a player were unrivaled, but his academic performance at school was less than stellar. He was expelled as a result of smoking marijuana in the school bathroom during his senior year of high school. He then returned to Carolina to complete his education at Laurinburg Institute, a prep school where he graduated with the second lowest grade in the year. This was the beginning of a problem that would go on to destroy Manigault's career and nearly destroy his life, and that problem was drug addiction. When Manigault left school, his girlfriend at the time was pregnant. A combination of that pressure, plus the fact that he was out of school, led Manigault straight into the life of drinking and drugs. But what really ruined his life was heroin. Earl Manigault used heroin like a maniac, and it quickly became the focus of his life off the court. According to him, I was frustrated because I was out of school. I just went and turned myself on. I did heroin. I was messing with the stuff like it was the last of it. I'm not bragging. I was doing so much of it. I didn't know there was any more left, $100 or $500. If I had it, I would spend it. Now that's some pretty sad stuff. For such a promising player, falling into a life of drugs and subsequently crime was the worst thing that could have happened at that point. Earl Manigault was arrested in 1969 for drug possession, and after a brief stint in prison, he came out and tried to change his life. But heroin, being a cruel drug, and it's pretty hard to stop once you get started. He was arrested a second time in 1977, this time not for drug possession, but for robbery. He wanted heroin so bad, he literally stole to get it. Remember kids, never do drugs. It's simply a lose-lose. Earl Manigault tried to right his life after his second stint in the Slammer and even tried to get back into professional basketball. But a combination of heroin ravaging his body and his 2 stints in prison meant he was just not the player he used to be anymore. And unfortunately, he couldn't cut it with the pros. After leaving prison for the second time, Manigault knew he had to stay away from heroin for good. So he left the big city and went back to his hometown of Charleston to live with his 2 sons.
Wow.
And he tried to create a better life for them while surviving by doing odd jobs like mowing lawns, painting houses, etc., wherever he could find work. He eventually returned to New York and restarted the GOAT tournament, as well as the Walk Away from Drugs tournament, in order to get kids off of drugs and prevent others from getting started. He also got a job as a child counselor at the LaGuardia Memorial House in East Harlem. He also put his legacy in Harlem to good use. He approached a major New York drug dealer and requested $10,000 to clean up a local park where, ironically, Manigault was attempting to convince kids to avoid drugs. According to Manigault, the drug dealer couldn't say no to the GOAT, like so many others in the region. Say what you will of Earl the GOAT Manigault, but it takes balls of steel to go take money from a drug dealer and then use that money to convince people not to do drugs. That's just wild. He remained in New York until he died in 1998 at the age of 53, after 2 heart operations and being rejected for a heart transplant due to his extremely poor health. To all who knew him, Earl Manigault was a great basketball player. In fact, he could have been the first Michael Jordan, or he might have been to basketball what Muhammad Ali was to boxing.
Wow.
This was just a classic case of circumstances and bad decisions leading to wasted talent.
Man.
And that brings us to the end of the video, so make sure you leave a like below, subscribe, and put those notifications on so you'll be notified every time.
Big dog, roof. Popping out saying I'm great. Who? Biscayne drop, cut off my roof. You know how I'm coming this take. Who? Tell her, get out the way.